Hey folks, good morning, and welcome to another episode of Steelers Morning Rush. I'm Alan Saunders. It is Wednesday, September 24th. The Pittsburgh Steelers are having their first practice of Week 4 at UPMC Rooney Sports Complex today. They are getting themselves prepared for an Ireland-like weather, a bit gloomy, a bit dreary, a bit rainy today here in Pittsburgh. Probably will practice indoors, I would imagine. Headed there with Ed Thompson, get some good stuff from today's practice, I hope, and then tomorrow's practice will be the last in Pittsburgh before the team departs for Ireland Thursday evening. I had a lot of you ask about the Steelers' comp pick situation, and that's where we're going with this episode this morning. After some rough news for that situation over the weekend, Najee Harris suffering a likely season-ending ankle injury, I believe it was an Achilles injury, knocking him out for the rest of the year, and Russell Wilson benched by the New York Giants. Obviously, one of those moves is reversible. The other is not. Neither are good for the Steelers' comp pick situation. Let's break it down. So the Pittsburgh Steelers have basically since the start of free agency been projected to get the maximum of 4 compensatory draft picks and to have them roughly in rounds 3, 4, 5, and 6. I will add that all of this projection is being done by the great folks at Over the Cap. Certainly, it is possible to figure it out on your own, but they do it better than everyone. That being said, it is still very much an exact science. They have reverse engineered the NFL's process instead of getting it directly from the source. And so even at the very last minute, there are things that are off. These are just projections. But have been since the start of the draft projected to get a 3rd, a 4th, a 5th, and a 6th round pick in the 2026 NFL draft. We should feel pretty comfortable about them getting 4 picks almost no matter what. The Steelers lost 7 countable free agents, players that were signed to multi-year deals and signed in the period when they count and signed to an amount of money that made them count. And that was Dan Moore, Russell Wilson, and Justin Fields. That was James Daniels, Najee Harris, and Landon Roberts. And so those players, those 7 guys, are going to count it for the Steelers, and then they have 3 that count against: Brandon Echols, Malik Harrison, and Mason Rudolph. Oh, Dante Jackson. Did I miss him? Yeah, Dante Jackson in the 7. So you have 7 to the good, 3 to the bad. No matter how good or bad they are, 1 always cancels out 1, and you can't have more than 4 anyway. But so like if you just had like the best countable free agent possible, that very first 3rd round pick, which is the first comp pick, and you had the worst countable free agent coming in, they would cancel each other out. So 1 always cancels 1, and then you get into so you deal with the number of picks first, and then you deal with the slotting of them. So the Steelers will get 4 comp picks, and they will still get 4 comp picks, but they may not be where they were projected to be. Now, the projected 3rd round pick was Dan Moore, and so far so good. The formula for these has 2 factors. One is salary, and the second is playing time. So we largely know what these players' salaries are going to be, but the play time is a projection. For Dan, so far so good. He's been the starting tackle for Tennessee. He's projected to be a very solid 3rd round comp pick right now. The 4th rounder is Justin Fields, and again, so far so good. Fields seems to be starting in New York. They don't really have a better option. Tyrod Taylor is their backup. I don't know why they would go to him. The Steelers obviously crossing their fingers and hoping that Justin Fields stays healthy. But other than that, this looks like it should stay where it is. After that is where things get dicey. The 5th round is where Russell Wilson had been projected. Now, Wilson's salary was $10 million. Base. So I don't think he's going to fall a lot from that because that's a pretty significant salary. But his playing time, if he stays benched for the rest of the season, will definitely hurt his stock in the comp pick formula. There was also a chance that if Wilson played the entire year, remember, he didn't play a full season last year, so the projection is sort of discounting his stuff already. But if he had played for an entire year, he had another $10 million in bonuses that he could have earned. So he could have doubled his salary. Russell Wilson easily could have become another 3rd round comp pick for the Steelers. He might stay a 5th. He might fall. I would probably think that he will fall. Again, a lot of guesswork in this if he doesn't play again. But we've seen time and time again, team makes a decision to quarterback, things don't go the way they think. Maybe he goes the other way. Heck, maybe they trade him to somebody else who's dealing with a quarterback injury and he plays out the rest of the year there. All possible. Again, you're dealing with a lot of uncertainty here. Not looking great for Russell Wilson, but I would say just because his initial salary was somewhat higher, $10 million, and because he did not play a full season last year, not as bad as it could have been, but won't hurt so badly where he had been projected, but is definitely removing any possibility of him moving up in that fifth round slot, which had been possible before. And the sixth round pick that most people were giving to the Steelers was for Najee Harris. And obviously another player with incentives that will be lost with this injury. And now Harris, because he did play a very full role with the Steelers in the past and had already been playing halftime even before his injury, splitting carries with Omar Khan as he recovered from that 4th of July fireworks incident. This is going to drop Najee Harris very far down this board. In fact, currently no longer projected to be one of the top 4 for the Steelers. The next player that probably would have replaced him would have been James Daniels, also injured for the Miami Dolphins. So not sure we can assume that. Dante Jackson of the Los Angeles Chargers is currently holding in the Steelers' 7th slot. I don't think he will go up again. He played most of the season for the Steelers. So right now, the projection remains 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th. I would say that Wilson's 5th is the most tenuous of those projections at this moment. And but right now, hanging on. I will say there was a possibility that they just got a historic comp pick haul out of this season. Najee goes off for another 1,000 yards. Russ stays the starter for the Giants all season and hits those incentives, and you're looking at 3/3. Now I think that's out of reach. I think the Steelers will be fortunate to keep their 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th projection. The one thing that is going in their favor is that their accountable free agent signings aren't moving up. Brandon Echols so far played a little bit more than expected, but it doesn't seem like Joey Porter's absence will be a long-term thing. Malik Harrison is out long-term for the Steelers, so he will be falling down in terms of play time, and Mason Rudolph has yet to take a snap after starting the season as a starter for the Tennessee Titans last year. So overall, not a disaster in terms of where things have changed with the comp pick. It's not like they're going to lose any. Still projected about the same spot that they were. But as we said, these projections are going to move. And I think when you look at where they are right now, the chances for them to move up for the Steelers have just about all evaporated. They're looking like holding on to what they have right now is about the best case scenario. And maybe even that feels a little bit unlikely. Wouldn't surprise me at all if Russell Wilson falls further. Maybe it's a 3rd or 4th and 2/6, something like that. But still expect 3rd or 4th, 6th, and 7th. Very, very possible that could be the way this goes. Hopefully that answer. I know that's not a clear answer. You're not going to get a clear answer when it comes to comp picks this time of year. But hopefully that did as good as I could do to let you guys know what's going on with that situation after those 2 pretty significant news events for the Steelers comp pick situation. All right, that's all I got for this morning. More after practice, me and Smitty on Afternoon Drive at 6 p.m. And then I'm joining Joe Morrison for the night shift at 8. Should be a lot of fun. Looking forward to it. Until then, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching, and enjoy.